Welcome to Ace My Exams Learning. Let us get started with today's learning.
Read and answer the questions below. Religion and human rights. Religion is not only about belief, but also about its capacity to improve human well-being. This understanding emphasizes that religion can play an essential role in shaping an individual's values and actions, leading to a more compassionate and just society. At the heart of this belief lies the notion that human rights are integral to an individual's freedom and dignity. According to the Human Rights Council, to ensure, in particular, the right of all persons to worship or assemble in connection with a religious belief. This statement highlights the fundamental importance of religious freedom, allowing people to express their beliefs without fear of oppression or discrimination. It reinforces the idea that every person should have the right to practice their religion freely and assemble with others who share similar beliefs, ensuring their rights are protected within the broader framework of human rights. Question: Religious freedom is a human right. Name any other human rights and discuss the responsibility associated with each of them. Religious freedom is a fundamental human right that allows individuals to choose, practice, and express their religion without fear or discrimination. Just like this right, there are other human rights that protect human dignity and promote equality. However, with each right comes a responsibility to respect, uphold, and protect these rights. Below are examples of other human rights and the responsibilities that go hand in hand with them. 1. Freedom from discrimination. This right protects every person from being treated unfairly based on race, gender, religion, ethnicity, language, disability, or political belief. It ensures that all people are treated equally and with dignity in society, and has the following responsibilities. You have the responsibility to uphold this right both for yourself and for others. This means that you should always stand up for equality and fairness, ensuring that no one is treated unfairly because of their identity or beliefs. You should speak out against discrimination and support equal treatment for everyone. For example, if a classmate is being excluded or mocked because of their cultural background, you should defend them and help others understand the value of diversity. You must also not discriminate against others on the basis of race, religion, sex, language, or political opinion. Therefore, don't treat people unfairly based on their identity or beliefs. For example, when forming a group for a school project, avoid choosing only people of a certain gender or religion, instead include everyone based on interest and ability. By avoiding discriminatory behavior, you help create a society where everyone's dignity is respected and protected. 2. The right to marriage and family. This right gives every adult the freedom to marry and have a family, and to raise children in a safe and supportive environment. It recognizes the importance of family life in a person's well-being and development. The above right demands the following responsibilities. First, you have the responsibility to support and promote family life, especially your own. This involves contributing to the well-being, unity, and stability of your family through care, respect, and love. For example, helping a younger sibling with their homework, spending quality time with family members, or showing appreciation to your parents through kind words and respectful behavior are all ways to strengthen family bonds and create a positive home environment. You also have the responsibility not to act in any way that would lead to the breakdown of a family. This means avoiding actions or behavior that could harm family relationships or weaken the family structure. For example, regularly disobeying your parents or starting unnecessary arguments can damage family relationships and create emotional tension at home, making it harder for the family to function as a supportive unit. 3. The right to education. This right ensures that every person has access to education and lifelong learning. It promotes knowledge, skills development, and participation in the economic, social, and political life of a country. The following responsibilities apply under this right. You have the responsibility to attend classes. This means making sure you are present and engaged in your learning opportunities as provided by your school or institution. Furthermore, you have the responsibility to be a diligent learner, a student doing the work and study required. This involves putting in effort, completing assignments, and preparing for assessments to gain the full benefit of your education. Question. Use examples and illustrate how religious teachings may be used to deny certain people their basic human rights. While religious teachings are often meant to guide people toward moral living and respect for others, they can sometimes be misinterpreted or misused in ways that deny others their basic human rights. For instance, when certain scriptures or cultural practices are taken out of context, they may be used to justify gender inequality, exclusion, or control over others. The following examples from Christianity, an African traditional religion, show how such teachings, when misapplied, can result in the denial of human rights, especially for women. 1. Christianity. In Christianity, the teaching "women submit to your husband just as the Church submits to Christ" is sometimes misused to justify the control and suppression of women within marriage. While the original intent of this scripture emphasizes mutual love, respect, and harmony between spouses, it is often misinterpreted to mean that women must be entirely submissive and obedient to their husbands in all aspects of life. This narrow interpretation strips women of their independence and undermines their right to make decisions, especially within the household. In some families, this misuse of the teaching leads to women being excluded from important family discussions, silencing their voices and devaluing their contributions. Such practices violate their human right to freedom of expression and participation. Furthermore, when obedience is expected without question, it creates a power imbalance that encourages gender inequality, denying women the dignity and agency they deserve. This distortion of religious teaching ultimately promotes dominance instead of the respectful partnership that Christianity encourages. Another Christian teaching that is sometimes misused is found in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. I do not permit a woman to teach, or to assume authority over a man, she must be quiet, which some interpret as a blanket rule that women should remain silent and never hold leadership or authoritative roles. This interpretation has been used in certain church or cultural settings to prevent women from becoming pastors, leading prayer groups, or even speaking in public gatherings. As a result, women may be excluded from playing meaningful roles in their religious communities, which limits their right to participate fully in their faith. In some cases, this teaching is used to discourage girls from pursuing education or leadership aspirations, reinforcing outdated stereotypes about a woman's place being only in the home. Such applications deny women equal opportunities and ignore the broader Christian principle that all people are equal in God's eyes, Galatians chapter 3 verse 28. The misuse of this scripture leads to systemic inequality, diminishing the voice and potential of women in both religious and social life. 2. African traditional religion. In African traditional religion, the practice of lobola or bride price is traditionally meant to symbolize respect, appreciation, and the unification of two families. However, in some communities, the original meaning of lobola is distorted, and it is wrongly seen as a form of payment that grants men ownership over their wives. This misinterpretation turns what is supposed to be a cultural expression of unity into a justification for dominance and control. As a result, some men use lobola to exert power over their spouses, restricting their movement, decision-making, and freedom of expression. For instance, a woman may be denied the right to work, study, or voice her opinions, as the husband believes he has the final say in all matters. This not only undermines the dignity of women, but also violates their basic human rights to equality, freedom, and personal autonomy within the marriage. Another way in which African traditional religion may be misapplied to deny human rights is through the exclusion of women from certain religious or cultural rituals. In some communities, deeply rooted gender roles result in women being forbidden from participating in key ceremonies, such as initiation rites, ancestral offerings, or leadership roles in spiritual matters. These exclusions are often justified by claims of tradition or purity, yet they systematically marginalize women and deny them equal access to cultural identity and spiritual fulfillment. For example, in some clans, only men are allowed to speak or lead during important community gatherings or ancestral consultations, even when women hold knowledge or experience relevant to the matter. This exclusion not only denies women the right to practice their faith equally, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes that devalue their contributions to cultural and religious life. Question: listed below are religious organizations that are practically involved in addressing human rights issues. Describe in detail the work that they do. 1. Karuna. 2. Gift of the Givers Foundation. 3. Salvation Army. Religious organizations around the world play a vital role in promoting and protecting human rights by addressing the needs of vulnerable groups, such as poverty, discrimination, lack of access to education and healthcare. Organizations such as Karuna, the Gift of the Givers Foundation, and the Salvation Army, through their work, provide practical support that upholds human dignity and promote human rights in the following ways. 1. Karuna. Karuna is a religious organization rooted in Buddhist values that works actively to promote human rights, particularly in India and Nepal. One of its main areas of focus is the elimination of caste-based discrimination, which is a direct violation of the human right to equality. The organization works with historically oppressed communities, helping them to reclaim their dignity and achieve social inclusion. To promote the right to education, Karuna supports educational initiatives that give marginalized individuals, especially children and women, access to learning opportunities that were previously denied to them. By empowering people through knowledge, the organization helps break the cycle of poverty and discrimination. Karuna also addresses the right to work and livelihood by providing training and support for dignified, sustainable employment. This not only improves living conditions, but also ensures that individuals can live with independence and self-respect. Gender equality is another critical area of Karuna's work. Through its programs that uplift women and girls, the organization contributes to protecting the rights of women to equality, safety, and freedom from oppression. 2. Gift of the Givers Foundation. The Gift of the Givers Foundation is a humanitarian organization grounded in Islamic principles, and it plays a significant role in defending human rights, especially in emergency and crisis situations. It provides life-saving disaster relief, which supports the most fundamental human right, the right to life. One of its key contributions is providing emergency medical assistance through the deployment of medical teams, equipment, and medicines. This directly supports the right to health care, particularly for vulnerable populations affected by natural disasters, war, or poverty. The organization also provides access to clean water, food, and shelter, which are essential elements of the right to an adequate standard of living. In regions facing drought or famine, these services are crucial for survival and dignity. Importantly, the foundation delivers aid without regard for race, religion, or nationality. This upholds the principle of non-discrimination, a core human rights value, and ensures that all individuals in need are treated with fairness and compassion. By responding to crises and supporting communities during their most difficult times, Gift of the Givers protects basic human rights and restores hope where it is needed most. Salvation Army. The Salvation Army is a Christian organization that addresses a wide range of human rights issues through practical humanitarian services, especially for poor, homeless, and abandoned individuals. Its work begins with ensuring the right to shelter by providing safe accommodation for those without a home. For vulnerable children, the Salvation Army guarantees the right to protection and care by offering residential support where children are not only housed, but also nurtured emotionally and mentally. This care contributes to the child's right to grow up in a safe, supportive environment. The organization also works to meet the right to food and clothing by providing essential supplies to those in need. These basic services help uphold the dignity of individuals and promote their right to an adequate standard of living. Mental and emotional well-being is another area of focus. The Salvation Army ensures that children in their care experience love, stimulation, and a sense of belonging, thereby supporting their right to psychological development and emotional support. Whenever possible, the Salvation Army works to reunite children with their biological parents, which supports the right to family life. When this is not possible, they facilitate adoption or foster care placements to ensure that every child has the opportunity to grow up in a stable and loving family environment. Through these holistic services, the Salvation Army actively protects and promotes human rights rooted in compassion and Christian values.
To access more learning and exam preparation materials, go to www.acemyexams.coza. This link is also in the video description below. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe and be the first to know when we upload new videos.